Good morning. Let's go ahead and get started with our webinar this morning entitled Growing Your Business, Entrepreneurship During the Pandemic. And my name is Dave Callan with SCORE, and I'll be moderating this morning's session. This morning's broadcast is being recorded. And so if that is a problem for you, I would ask you to drop off at this point. I will tell you at the end, I'll tell you now and I'll tell you at the end that all of the slides and probably some slides that we won't even cover today will be distributed shortly after the webinar concludes. So if you need to take notes or want to take notes or what have you, you will have access to the slides. Let me introduce two of our two speakers this morning. They're also largely responsible for making this event possible today, so we sincerely appreciate their participation. We're first going to hear from Jamie Adams. Jamie, as the screen says, is an AVP and branch leader for Truist Bank. Some people may know that formerly as BB&T. Jamie's been in the banking industry for over 10 years. She currently works out of the Walnut Port branch office up in the Lehigh Valley. And so I will turn over her to Jamie momentarily. But I also want to take this opportunity to introduce Kim Stout. Kim is an economic development specialist for the SBA, and she works up in the Douglasville area out of Berks County. She works with a variety of small businesses to ensure a successful and sustainable future. And Kim specializes in financial planning for small businesses. So we're delighted to have both Jamie and Kim join us today. Let me give you a very brief introduction here, if I can get my keyboard working, to SCORE. And as I say, just briefly, for those of you who may not know, SCORE was founded over 50 years ago as a resource partner to the SBA. And you can see that our mission is to help small businesses through confidential mentoring and education. In Chester and Delaware counties, we're very fortunate to have 100 volunteer mentors like myself that are here to help small business owners. Some of us still have full-time or part-time jobs, others are retired, but we are all here to help you in your business as it grows. Across the country, we have literally thousands of mentors and volunteers like myself, and we are the largest network of free volunteer small business mentors in the nation. So I'd encourage you to take advantage of the free mentoring or very, very low cost services that are available to you through SCORE. A client asked me the other day, well, how long do I have access to SCORE? And the answer is as long as you need it. If you need mentorship, let us know. And at the very end of the presentation, I'll show you how you can access our services. A little quick housekeeping or rules of engagement. As I mentioned, the presentation is being recorded and will be available to you after today's session. All of our attendees have been placed on mute so as to avoid distractions. If there are situations throughout the presentation where you do have questions, I encourage you to go to the bottom of your screen and look for the Q&A box. Type Q&A in there, your question, and we will moderate that to make sure that your presenter has an opportunity to answer it either now or after the conclusion of the presentation. If you have any general comments or want to make references, put those in the chat box. Let's keep the Q&A box reserved specifically for questions if we can. So without further ado, let me go ahead and turn the presentation over to Jamie Adams from Truist, and we'll go from there. Jamie, it's all yours.
Thanks, Dave. Good morning, everybody. So again, my name is Jamie Adams. I am a branch leader, so it's a big fancy term for a branch manager. I am up in Lehigh Valley, so I'm actually the very bottom of the Pocono Mountains in Walnut Port. Why am I presenting to Chester and Delco? That's a good question. I actually did this presentation for the SCORE events up here, for the SCORE committees up here. They really liked it. They asked me to do it for you all, and I'm happy to do so. So one of the things that is my charge here at my branch is business development. So what I do is my 70% of my life is the businesses here in the community. You can see on the screen, this is kind of our purpose, mission, and values for Truist. is to inspire and build better lives and communities. And I do a lot of that through things such as this, doing these presentations for small businesses. We go into businesses in the area here and do financial wellness for their employees. I have gone into schools. I really enjoy going into the middle and high schools and doing Jeopardy with them. It's amazing what they know already. Even the word entrepreneur, which we're going to go over today, they all know what that is. And I don't think in seventh grade, I knew what that was. So this is truly what my heart is. And this is truly what we do, is to build the lives and communities that we sit in. So if you want to go to the next slide, we can get on to the actual presentation. So my little part of this is entrepreneur during the pandemic. So we were going through some things with the score up here about different things that we could do during the pandemic. I did present this at the end of last year for them. It's a little bit better now, which I'm happy to say, but we are still in different dire straits of businesses. They're looking for help. They're looking for funding. And that's why I decided that I don't really have to change much of this, because you'll see a lot of this has to do with still what we're dealing with now. So true entrepreneurship during the pandemic is what I'm going to cover today. You can go to the next slide. Choice to start a new business is scary for anyone in any time. Are you just getting out of college? Do you just want to start your own business right off the bat? Are you working somewhere where you're not happy and you want to start a new business? During this time, the last 2 years or so was even more scary. You had people who maybe they were, I apologize, I did not mute that. I apologize. Let me mute my phone. I'm in actually a different office than I normally am. People walk right in on me in my office out there. So I came back here. So during the pandemic, it's scary. Are you working somewhere where maybe you didn't agree with how they were handling the pandemic and what protocols they were working on? Maybe you unfortunately were laid off. So 55% of new business owners decided and believed that during the pandemic was a better time to start the pandemic, or to start their business anyway. With the pandemic, in my research and what I was, have been talking to clients about, really showed people how they can find a problem and make a solution. So many stories of business owners, I didn't have a ton to do during the pandemic because we were closed, our doors were locked, businesses were shut down. So I just was making calling all my businesses. How's it going? What can I do to help? Is there anything you have to talk out? And some of the stories that I heard were just amazing. We're shut down, but we're doing this curbside. We're shut down, but we kind of adjusted and we're doing this online. Truly making lemonade out of probably the worst lemons any of us have ever been a part of. So 57% of new business owners also said that they've always wanted to be your own boss. But I think anybody who is out there right now who is saying, yeah, I want to be my own boss, knows the difference between wanting to be their own boss and having the dedication and the drive to being your own boss. It's different. When you have no one to answer to, you only have yourself. So some people make great bosses, some people do not. So it's really finding it within yourself. Are you going to be dedicated? Are you going to be determined enough and disciplined enough to do this? And 62% of new business owners that started businesses during the pandemic completely switched industries altogether. Maybe they were working at a restaurant and they decided that they wanted to do dog grooming. Maybe they worked at a restaurant and they decided that they wanted to start their own gym. They wanted to start their own salon. We had a lot of that. It's something that, yes, this is my full-time job, but I do this on the side. Now I want to do this, which is what my true passion is. What better way to do it when, I'm laid off or I lost my job. So next slide, Dave. So first thing, doesn't matter if it was during a pandemic or not, when you want to do your business is planning and making a business model. This is something that a lot of clients who come to me and they say, this is something that I want to do. How do I get started? I'm like, okay, we need to do a business plan. We need to figure out how you want to do this. So some new terms that came into play, they've always been terms, but the heightened and the necessity for these terms became paramount. Contactless, curbside pickup, teleconsultations, telecommunications. With contactless, the need for not dealing with cash, tap to pay. I drop your food on your porch and you pay online, and you never see your delivery driver. Curbside pickups, I am 100% guilty. Through the entire pandemic and actually still now, I do most of my grocery shopping curbside. I always joked with my husband, this would be if I ever left here, I would just shop for people. And that's what came out of this. So you could go to Target and anything, whether it was clothing, food, home supplies, it all came out to you curbside. Grocery stores, drugstores, anything. Teleconsultations. I have a lot of friends who are in the medical field. I have a lot of clients who are in the medical field. They spend a majority of their day now doing teleconsultations. And we even do teleconsultations. This is a type of a teleconsultation. What we're doing today is helping people and giving advice and giving all of this stuff over the phone, over the internet. I'll show you in another slide later, different methods for that. So, and planning business model, and a lot of people had to change their business model during the pandemic. So 42% of new businesses have no plans to change their business model. It's working. They're getting more clients. More clients are happy with contactless. Curbside pickup is a big thing. It's not going anywhere. Teleconsultations. If I know what's wrong, if I know I have a sinus infection, I just want to call my doctor and say, hey, this is what's going on. And I get a prescription in 10 minutes rather than me taking off of work, going into the office, sitting there, getting a checkout, and then eventually getting what I know is wrong anyway. That's not going to change. It improved efficiency, it improved time management, it improved the way that we do what we do every day when we're working. And on the flip side, 80% of customers would like to see the pandemic era modifications continue. I like going to the grocery store. I pop my trunk, groceries come in, and I'm home. That's an added bonus. I like that if I need to go see the doctor and it's just a well check or it's just a follow-up on something, I can do that outside in my car on the lunch. I don't have to go anywhere. That's a huge thing. So people want to see it stay. Businesses have no plans of changing it. Next slide, please. Funding and financing. This is my bread and butter. So you want to start up a business. How are they financing these businesses? And a lot of people run right to the bank, right? They say, Jamie, I want to start a construction company. I need a loan. And what we have to say in our education is to tell them that we need to start, number one, with that business plan. Most banks will not finance a business, a true startup business, within those first 2 years. We need to make sure that you're established. We need to make sure that you're able to, again, be your own boss. So a lot of the financing, 80% are pulling funds from their own bank accounts, or they're doing loans on their primary home to finance it. They're getting personal loans to finance it. 32% combining it with family, friends, or partners. Maybe me and my best friend want to go into a boutique together. We're pulling those financing. But over half of the new businesses starting during the pandemic started with $10,000 or less. Grassroots is a huge thing. Pulling ideas from different business owners, networking with different businesses in your area is a huge thing. If you have not started networking in the areas where you are, you should really start. If there's a store down the street that is similar to what you want to do, go in and ask the business owner. The worst that they can say is no. Just ask them to chat, talk about different things. The worst thing that they can say is no. I have a lot of clients who I say, why don't you go and ask this person? This person is someone who's very established in that industry in the area. And very seldom do I see them come back and say, no, they were really rude. They didn't want to help me. Small business owners know how hard it was to start their businesses, and they're more willing to help. You want to go to the next slide? Show me the money, right? That's my favorite line. Everybody always says that to me. Well, show me the money. How do I do it? For me to show you the money, you have to show me the money, right? So I'm going to kind of skip over personal funds because we talked about that, right? Savings and lines of credit, home equity lines of credit are a big part of what I do for some of my true startup businesses. And a home equity line of credit is a line of credit based and a lien on your primary home, on the equity in your home. A lot of businesses start with those funds and then they pay themselves back, or savings. But the true show me the money. So bank lending, let's say you're in over 2 years for your lending. Bank lending then becomes a thing. Before 2 years, let's say you were working for a construction company for 10 years, now you want to go out and be your own boss. Well, that has a history there of same industry. So we can try to get that loan approved as long as your credit is okay, but we would have SBA backing. We are an SBA lender here with Truist. That's a big thing for startups, is to make sure that the bank that you're working with is an SBA lender. So any businesses that we would lend to under 2 years would be SBA backed. Over 2 years, we don't need the SBA backing. It would be based on your credit, your tax returns, your business's credit, and your business's tax returns. Usually we need those last 2 years. Let's say you were coming to me today and your taxes aren't done for 2021. I would ask you for a profit and loss statement. So those are definite things that you want to make sure that you have on hand. Other ways is investors. So that's those family, friends, or partners. Maybe, your family is really confident in your ability to do this and they're going to help you finance that. So that's another way that you can do that. You want to go to the next slide? Technology. So a lot of businesses, technology was a secondary implementation. I want to get my business going. I'll worry about all of that after. I'll worry about merchant services. So that's those credit card processing. I'll worry about that next. I'll worry about a website a year from now. I'll worry about marketing, a year from now. It's no longer a secondary implementation because of the gaps in the service needs. Most of the curbside and mobile sales, they're all based off of websites. You go on, you place your order online, and then it goes to the store. So, I have some programs on a slide coming up of where you can do that. That is huge. That goes into that contactless and that curbside again. Marketing is big too. You have, less people out in the world, less people leaving the home and things like that. Marketing is huge. Social media is huge. Word of mouth is huge, especially for small businesses, because marketing is expensive, right? These technology pieces, some of them are expensive. So word of mouth is huge. Your social media tools, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, all of those things are going to be very big for you to be a part of. It's time to get a little familiar with those, because that's going to be your bread and butter. Sales and customer service, that's going to be a big technology. A lot of people don't have business phone lines. that's something that you should have when you first start, because you want to make sure that you have clients who can get a hold of you, not on your personal cell phone. Remote employees. Some businesses who were established, now they need their employees to be remote because of the social distancing. And those who were social distance and they were remote, a lot of businesses are realizing that remote is okay. They can still have production. They can still have employees do their job and do their job well. But that, again, is technology. You need to make sure that that employee is sitting at home. When I take my laptop at home that has access to client information is on a controlled and a secured network. I am completely 100% secure at my house, the same as I am secure sitting here in my branch today. And instant communication. That's going to be, again, your email and things like that. You want to go to the next slide? And there's lots of options. So I promised you that I wasn't just going to say, you need this, you need this, you need this. I actually went on and did a lot of this research. All of these different programs that I'm going to talk about, the reason I picked them over others, you're going to say, well, what about this? What about that? These offer free demos, free trials, free consultation, free customer service, because in my area, and I know just like a lot of areas, these communications, these technologies were new, and they're new to small business owners. They're new to anyone. I like a good demo. I like to be able, if I have a problem with a piece of technology or a program, to be able to talk to someone and talk to someone quickly. So that's why I picked these. It's not my favorite. I'm not being sponsored by any means. But I picked these because of what they have on their website. So for communication, what we're doing today, this is Zoom. A lot of Zoom. If you are parents, your kids were on Zoom or Google Meets or anything like that. For school, Zoom, FaceTime, Cisco, which is WebEx. Those are all really big, big communication devices that help you reach a lot of people. Right now, I actually have some of my stuff so I can see my screens. I have some of the stuff minimized, but we had, I think, 14 people when we started this. For me to reach 14 people and for me to be able to do this in Chester and Delaware County, I would have to travel there. That's more money. So this is that way to save that money. Financial management. QuickBooks is probably the top. And what I found looking through different things, they have the best demos. They have the best customer service. They have several ways that you can get to that customer service. So that is a huge one. And you can be, I find that that's really nice because you can be as complex or simple as you'd like it to be. Customer management, that's Zendesk and Salesforce. So that's going to be your customer management, making sure that you can store customer information properly and safely and securely, that you can have the resources for those customers to order, for those customers to see your inventory, things like that. Human resources for yourself as the boss or the owner. Indeed, Bomba HR is newer. Those are different ways, and they have really good tutorials on how to, when you are putting on different ads for your business and for who you're looking for, they have really good tutorials on how to word that properly. So you're not getting a lot of hits, you're getting more detailed kind of matches. Indeed is more like the Match.com for businesses. So they look at different pieces of what your initial ad says to what different people's resumes say. So they're very good at helping you script it better so that you get better matches. And then IT and security, again, we talked about remote employees. That's huge. They need to be secured at home. You're having your customers' information going into someone's home. LastPass and CCleaner are really, really good, and they have good demos as well. Dave, if you want to go to the next one, that is really it for me. Other than to say that I am not local to you all, I don't think, and I apologize, and I would love to help you, but there are Truist branches. So there are Truist branches near you, and what one of our things is please come in and talk to us. What we do is we want to help the communities. We want to do that financial education. If you ever need to talk, or you just want to bounce an idea or a business plan off of one of us, contact the branch leader. Branch leaders in all of our branches are your business development specialists. So just give us a call. We would be happy to help you. You can give me a call. I'm all the way up here, but I would love to help you too. My contact information will be on here. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Dave.
Jamie, thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate it. Of course, we appreciate the relationship that SCORE has with Truist. You guys have been a wonderful community partner for us, so thank you for the time. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to go to probably the bottom of your screen and the Q&A little button there. And if you want to make any comments, feel free to add those into the chat as well. Again, Jamie, thank you. So now we will hear from Kim Stout. As I mentioned, Kim is from the Small Business Administration, and I will let her. Kim, are you all set? Yep, she's off mute. Yep, so let's rock and roll from there. Thanks again, right, Jamie.
Thank you. And Jamie, thank you so much for that information. I think it's awesome how much technology has been able to support our small businesses, especially during the last 2 years. And I know so many of the entrepreneurs had to switch to something because of the new world that we live in today. So that was really good information. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. We did a lot of, because like I said, there was a lot of time where I couldn't do my normal day-to-day things. So I spent a lot of time with clients in my office on their iPads doing some of these technologies. So it was fun. It was a very stressful 2 years, but to me, it was very rewarding seeing just how smart and inventive people can be. So thank you, Kim. And the SBA has always been there for us too. So.
Yeah, well, good. And I would have to say that you guys too listening, I don't know how many times I've heard the word pivot in the last 2 years that, you can almost make a game of it. But those of us who couldn't pivot had much more challenging times, and a lot of us had to be a lot more creative. Even us in the government, at the SBA, we had to really be creative of how we were going to now do outreach and education to our small businesses, because my job is typically to do webinars like this in person to you, to help educate you entrepreneurs, to help you find the resources that help you become better business owners in partnership with SCORE and our lending partners. So, I have been doing Zoom webinars and team webinars for well over 2 years now, right? We're already in 2 years. So we use technology to help continuing sharing messages to our small businesses. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the continued programs that are out there for the Small Business Administration to our entrepreneurs. And I actually am excited because these are traditional SBA programs. I spent the last 2 years talking about disaster relief, and we're finally turning that corner where we can actually go back to the day-to-day and talk about the resources that are here on a regular basis for our small businesses, regardless of what stage you're in. And Dave, if you could go to slide 3 for me. The Small Business Administration is a government agency, for those of you who may not know. Our sole purpose is to support small businesses, regardless if you're in the startup stage, if you're trying to grow, if you're trying to expand, and of course, recover. Typically recover meant for us a physical disaster. If there was a hurricane, if there was an earthquake, fires, things along those lines. And in the last 2 years, that recover has changed to cover a pandemic, which the SBA has never done before, and put disaster relief programs in place for our small businesses. But luckily today we get to focus on start, grow, and expand. So the SBA has a district office in Eastern Pennsylvania. Our physical office is in King of Prussia. However, we cover the 40 eastern counties of Pennsylvania to help provide support in counseling, which is our partners like SCORE, capital, lending programs, and contracting. And I'm going to dive into those each very briefly. This PowerPoint presentation can go on for an hour and a half, but we only have about 20 minutes. So you guys will be getting these slides so that you have the information in front of you. And then if you need anything in the future, you can always reach out to us. I am the SBA representative for Delaware and Chester County. I cover from Delaware County over to Fulton County, Berks, and Lebanon. So if you're in that area, certainly feel free to reach out to me. My info is a few minutes. If you're outside that territory, you can reach out to me. I will put you in touch with one of my colleagues. The only difference is because that's our county. For example, the Chester County area, I know more of the local resources. Most of my counterparts, I know the local resources in their counties because it's their day-to-day business to work with them. So if you could go to slide 13 for me. Okay, so
you want to get there.
okay, it should be on the bottom, but we can stop here for a minute, Dave. That's fine. So what I was going to show to you on slide 13 is just in this slide is just the introduction to what I was going to say. Is that we at the SBA have several resource partners that we help to fund. We can't do all of this work on our own, so we have the support of the resource partners such as SCORE, our small business development centers, our women's business centers, and our veterans business outreach centers. All of these resource partners are free to you. It does not cost you anything to reach out to them. There might be a minimal fee for a training. I do believe SCORE has a fee for the how to start a business. It's like a 5-week session. There's a small fee for that, but trainings like this are at no cost to you. They get funding from the SBA and other entities to help support them. Like Dave is a mentor. He's a volunteer. The Chester, Delaware County SCORE is fantastic. They have over 100 volunteers, and it's like having a business consultant in your pocket. I'm a former business owner. I used to own a restaurant. You know, I applaud you guys for working as entrepreneurs. It's a lot of hard work. I truly understand that. What is great about these resource partners is that they are on your side. They're there to support you. They're there to help you. You know, brainstorm, business plan, strategically plan, help you financially look at your records and how to grow your small businesses, how to start your business. And this was a resource I was not familiar with when I owned my business. Had I known, I might have been, I did fine, but had I known, I might have been more successful. You know, you have family, you have friends, but they don't always truly know what you're going through. You know, as a business owner, it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You know, even if you're only open weekends or, you know, it's a part-time entrepreneurship gig, you're always on. You always have to represent yourself. You always have to make sure you're calling those customers back, etc. It's a lot of hard work, and many people don't realize that. It's very rewarding, but it's great to be able to have a mentor that you can sit down. You know, and Dave mentioned this earlier, they're available to you as much as you want them to be. It might be a monthly check-in. It might be as you're starting your business, you might be working with them on a more regular basis. I know mentors across Eastern Pennsylvania who have been part of SCORE for 20 to 25 years. That's dedication to their community. That's dedication to entrepreneurs, and they truly love what they are doing. So if you do not have a mentor, if you have not reached out to one of our resource partners, I really think that it would be a valuable idea. The other benefit to it is we're constantly educating our resource partners of what we have, what support we have, what loans we have. They were a great help during the pandemic, because when information changed, and it changed almost every single day with our SBA loan programs that were put in place for disaster relief, we were able to educate our resource partners So then they can also spread the word of the help that was out there for small businesses. So I really, truly think that it's valuable to sign up with SCORE, work with our small business development centers, our women's business centers. The women's business centers do not discriminate. They help both male and female entrepreneurs. It's just that they have dedicated grant funding to support female entrepreneurs with certain programs. And of course, we have our Veteran Business Outreach Center as well for veteran business owners. Dave, if you could go to the next slide for me. And I think if we keep scrolling through here, I'm just looking for my slide 13 now. So that's all the information that you guys will get through the slide deck that I just gave you about our resource partners. Keep going. Keep going. There you go. That's us. That's our district office. That is my contact information. That's my cell phone number right under my email address. We are still primarily working remotely. There's some people in the office, but the office is not open to the public yet. So if you need anything, reach out to me via email or on my cell phone. If we can go to the next slide, please. This is our website. It lists a lot of information about our lending programs, etc. But what I wanted to point out there is in the middle, the small business events, is we have, I know that slide says 2020, but we have an updated calendar of events that if you're looking for trainings, webinars, etc., to help you support your small business or your business needs, our resource partners and our office will put those trainings up. So if you're looking for something to help you with marketing, SEO, business planning, things like that, just go to our website and take a look and see what programming is coming up. And I would say the majority of it is still being done virtually like we are today. Okay, from here, we're going to skip a couple of slides. I'm not going to talk about, as you're going through, Dave, I'm not going to talk about government contracting. This is an option for small businesses that we can do if you're interested in working with the federal government. We have programs that help educate you on how to do so. You can keep going, Dave. And we have procurement technical assistance centers that can also help you. So if you're in that realm where you're looking to get some help, reach out to us. If federal government contract, you can stop there, Dave. If you are looking to grow your business through government contracting, we can help educate you on that. We have certifications for woman-owned small businesses, veteran-owned businesses, small disadvantaged businesses, etc. And I will say that what was helpful during the pandemic is the federal government continued to spend money and reach out to our small businesses. So we did see a lot of our small businesses who were able to pivot into government contracting actually able to sustain their small businesses because they were able to acquire contracting. Government contracting is not for everyone. It is a lot of time and dedication to get into contracting with the federal government, but the good thing is the U.S. government is the world's largest purchaser of goods and services. We purchase everything and anything depending on what contracts are out there. So if this is something you're interested in, I can give you information on the trainings that we do, or you can visit our website where they're listed as well. Our business opportunity specialists in the office, George and Jen, they do a training monthly. One is a 3-hour intense training on the certifications. The second one in the afternoon is focused on actually how to do business with the federal government. Most of the people know us for our capital programs, money, right? Jamie talked a little bit about funding and working with her clients on their needs to support their small businesses and acquire the capital that they can. And Jamie also mentioned that Truist is an SBA lender. We do not do any direct lending at the SBA. It's through our lending partners, such as Truist, such as through our micro lenders, that we're able to do our capital loan programs. We have our 7A loan program, which is what Truist does for the SBA. We have our micro loan programs and we have our 504 loan programs. If you are looking for funding, my first suggestion is to always go to the lending institution that you already do business with, whether it's a personal account or a business account, because they already know you. They already know you personally, or they already know your business. Have a conversation with them about your funding needs and how you're going to use it. If they're unable to help you, ask them why. Why is it that you can't? A lot of times it's just, you may be a startup and they don't do startups. It may be that their portfolio has too many like industries as to what you are doing, and they can't assist you. Get that reason as to why, and then you can always reach out to us at the SBA, and we can give you information about the lending institutions that are doing SBA lending, that are supportive of startups, that are doing loans under a certain amount, things like that. So we keep a relationship with all of our lending partners, and when somebody isn't able to acquire a loan through their bank, we're able to make suggestions as to who they might want to reach out to. That includes our lending institutions like Truist, that includes our institutions like credit unions, and also our community development financial institutions. I mentioned micro-lending. Micro-lending is $50,000 or less. It is done through our community development financial institutions, which are nonprofit lending institutions that are typically service area based and mission based, meaning that they are only serving a certain area, and they are there to support mostly the underserved, but our micro lenders are there to support loans that can't be done through a bank. A bank has their requirements. Our micro lenders, they have requirements, but they can be a little bit more flexible. I will step back though and say that when a bank is using a 7A SBA loan program, they have more flexibility as well, because you originally might not fit into their credit box or their portfolio of what they're looking for. We'll use the startup as an example. You may be a startup, you may not have 2 years of historical financial information, but they can go and get the SBA 7A guarantee and feel comfortable doing that loan because they acquired that guarantee from us. Our micro lenders don't get a guarantee from us, but they receive this money from us, this grant funding from us to get out onto the streets to the small businesses. They have flexibility with credit scoring, startups, things like that. But remember, these are small loans under $50,000. Not everybody's going for that amount. Sometimes you need more. You can always reach out to our office. We can have a conversation of what you're looking for, and we can help guide you. You can also have these conversations with your SCORE mentor, and they can also help guide you as well. The final program, the 504 loan program, that's for large asset purchases. If you're purchasing real estate, if you're purchasing equipment, a lot of times that does not make sense, that particular loan program, until you hit like 350,000 or more. The benefit of the 504 loan program is that it can be as low as 10% equity injection, and that becomes important when you are trying to cash flow your business. So these are all conversations to have, as you're developing your business plan, or you're trying to strategically put a growth plan together. Where am I going to acquire funding, etc. These are all things that we want you to think about as you're working on your business. If you can scroll for me, Dave, to my lender match slide. Right there, thank you. If you are looking for a lender, if you've had your conversation with your lending institution and they're unable to assist you, the SBA has developed this program called Lender Match. It's on our website. You go into the link and you answer about 20 questions about your funding needs. How long you've been in business, what are you going to use the funding for, how much are you going to need, etc. This then goes out to our lenders who have requested to be part of this platform, and those that have a profile that is similar to yours. It's like a match program, right? So if they said, yes, we'll take startups, yes, we'll do small loans, yes, we'll do this, yes, we'll do that, your inquiry will then go out, and lenders that are interested in doing business with you have 48 business hours to get in contact with you. This does not mean that you are guaranteed a loan. It means that they are interested in talking to you about your funding needs. Hopefully it leads to an application for a loan, and that would be great. But this will get you in touch with lenders without having to make all of these phone calls, etc., things like that. I do see a question in the box. Wells Fargo and Novo, are they SBA lending banks? Wells Fargo is an SBA lender. I don't know what Novo stands for, and that might be why I'm missing that, but I'm not 100%. I've never seen that name before. So I don't know, unless you could spell out what those letters stand for me. Let's see, if we could go to, I'll just hold right there for a second, Dave. These are what lenders are looking for. The 5 C's of credit is what you'll hear from, when you're working with your lending institution: character, cash flow, collateral, capital, conditions. Sometimes the C changes, like character might just be credit. We throw character in there because some of our community financial development institutions are character-based lending institutions. Even though they do pull your credit, they look more at your character. Cash flow, capacity, the ability to pay back the loan. You do have to provide cash flow projections as a startup business, historical information if you're already in business. Collateral, yes, we're going to ask for any and all collateral. To pledge that, you're going to work through your lending institutions because they have different requirements on collateral depending on who you're working with. With capital, equity injection, you putting your money into the program, nothing's 100% financed anymore. And with startups, through our 7 to 8 program, it's a minimum of 10% that you're going to have to put in. And conditions, you cover that in your business plan. What's the industry like? Who's your competition? Where are you located? And industry analysis, things along those lines. We can go to the next slide or go through. We help with exporting. There's a couple of different programs out there to help you with research and so forth. You can keep scrolling, Dave. There's a lot of information on these slides that I won't be covering. And if you need help going through, go ahead, Dave. Any of them, you can always feel free to reach out to me. Go ahead and keep going. I talked about exporting, keep going. All right, and we did talk a little bit about disaster relief. Typically we are here for physical disasters. We've been here for through the pandemic we created the Paycheck Protection Program. We have the COVID EIDL program. We did a couple of grant programs. All of those have closed. If you are an existing business that's on here today and you have a COVID EIDL, economic injury disaster loan, that program closed for new applications on December 31st. However, we are still working through with our small businesses for those that were eligible for an increase or reconsideration. So we are still working with small businesses through that. Next slide, please. And I think we can just go to the question slide. Again, I'm Kim. I'm with the Eastern Pennsylvania District Office. If you need anything after today, feel free to send me an email. That's the best way to get in touch with me. I see here that Novo is an online banking app for ex-federal bank. Probably not. It's not familiar with me. I would have to go into our partner management system to see if they're listed there. But that does not sound like an SBA. I'm not familiar with that lending institution as an SBA bank. So if there are any questions, Jamie and I are both here. Dave is here. We'll be happy to take any of those at this point. Dave, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for both of you for participating, again, for making today's session possible for all of us attending. We sincerely appreciate it. I am going to look one more time in the Q&A box. I don't see anything there. Let me encourage that if you have any final questions, we'll go ahead and get those teed up. I will be turning off the recording here in just a second, at which point there will be a brief webinar poll. I will ask you if you could just spend a minute with us, give us some feedback on that. Let me also share with you that we have a very robust webinar schedule coming up here that SCORE is sponsoring through the spring. I'm looking at a sheet of paper that probably has at least 15 webinars that are already scheduled. You'll see these showing up on our website over the course of the next week or so. Some of them may already be posted. And again, it's all possible through partnerships with people like SBA and Truist Bank. So thank you so much for your time again.